Hello, 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 everyone, to the Idle Musings of a Nerd. Whoa, we got some waving already going on. Idle Musings of a Nerd Mind. I haven't even said that title yet.
I got excited. Sorry.
You got excited. You were clapping for us. It was great. Yes, this is the Idle Musings of a Nerd Mind podcast. Welcome to episode 3. Thank you guys everybody for tuning in once again here as we broadcast live over on our social medias over at Facebook and Twitter, and hopefully YouTube very soon. That's where we're headed, hopefully. So, but I wanted to thank you guys for joining me once again. Thank you everyone for tuning in. My name is Matt Reschneider. I'll be one of your lovely co-hosts for tonight. Over next to me, I gotta go the other way. This way, I've got the wonderful
Stephanie. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Stephanie. And below me, I've got
Richard Williams. Howdy.
Howdy. Howdies now? Yeah. Air horns? Do we need air horns? That's what we need. I like it.
I got you.
I thought a cat came on. It was like meow 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 meow. So gotta love that. So, and I hear your dog in the background. Goldie says hi. Goldie is entertaining us over here on the podcast also.
Sure. Yep. Sorry.
So we love Goldie. Goldie can join us too. He's got some opinions on a lot of things, specifically cats. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping first and foremost with you guys, and that is to let everybody know that we are now up over on the Ear Glue Media website. So we now have a website that is live up there. It's got our audio podcasts up available there. You can also listen to our audio podcasts over there, or you can go subscribe to us over at anchor.fm or on Spotify right now. We're going to get the rest up there so you guys can get that wherever you decide to jam in your podcast into your ear holes. We'll get all those going as we get those up. But we are now up on the Ear Glue Media website. So thank you so much for all the wonderful folks at Ear Glue Media for getting us up there. The video broadcast will be up there soon enough. Now that I've got a YouTube kind of rock and everything, we'll get all that linked together for you. But right now, if you're watching us, you're probably over on Facebook or Twitter and you're watching us right now. And thank you for joining us. And thank you guys for joining us also today. So we have quite a bit to talk about. Before we get there, though, I want to know, what are you guys doing this week? What have you been watching? What have you been reading? What have you been playing?
Who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first? Rock, paper, scissors? Oh, we don't want to do that. No rock, paper, scissors today.
Is it the New York version or is it the Colorado version?
There's versions.
Yes,
you can't just throw dynamite in there. You can't throw dynamite in there. You can't throw all these other things. Alligators. Nobody. Those rules are out the window.
Yeah, whatever.
Richard, what have you been watching this week?
I have been actually rewatching Swamp Thing. I just got some comic books, and I'm like, I totally want to see this series. It sucks that it was only one season because it was good, but they say it was ridiculously expensive to do all of that. And I am replaying House of Ashes. It's kind of like Pick Your Own Adventure. It's a horror game, and you have to talk to people in a certain way. And if you're mean, then when the door is open and creatures are coming after you, that person will close the door so you can get eaten.
So it's almost like real life. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Like,
right?
Gaming has now gotten into real life?
But yeah, and Moon Knight comes on at 12 or 1. I will be up. I will be watching it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, next episode comes up. We'll talk about episode 1. I'm gonna drop that down. I think we need to talk a little bit. I know you're a big Moon Knight fan, so I'm gonna try to spoil your day. So that's my goal.
I'm like,
it's gonna be fun, Richard. It's gonna be fun. I promise you. I promise you.
All right.
Steph, what have you been watching? What have you been reading? What have you been playing?
So a couple of things. I have been rewatching Lotus Wars, which is an old school anime, fantasy anime. It's kind of like role playing fantasy real life anime. It has elves and wizards and whatever. I grew up on it, and Funimation actually has a restored version of it
Cool.
for the OVAs, and it's pretty awesome, not even gonna lie. So it's pretty cool going down memory lane. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a huge Housewives fan. And recently, I'm from New York, so the franchise in New York last season was crazy, low viewership, and a lot of racist drama and stuff going on.
Oh my God.
So they canceled the reunion, and now it's been in the news that this next season, all new cast, but they're going to do a spin-off with the old cast, which I think is like a weird thing of Bravo doing that, and I understand that the general audience is like old white women, because that's what the Housewives is, old white women acting bad. And I wonder if they didn't want to lose their viewership, so they sent all the controversial old cast to the spin-off, and it's going to slowly fade them out. I don't know.
That's a
But
good way of doing it.
I just
was
want
gonna say,
answers, Andy.
I just want answers. You just called out Andy on the podcast. That's cool. That's cool. I'm glad. I'm sure he appreciates that. No, I just think that, come on, it's totally a network TV move to just want to have your cake and eat it too. You know, and we want to punish them for all their bullshit, but we're not going to really punish them. Things like that. I don't know. It's a weird thing. So
Pretty much.
But Lotus Wars.
Oops. Sorry.
No, I like it. Finish your thought, Richard.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I hope my friend Jamie Cutbirth is watching, because he's head of marketing at Bravo. Make a comment. I dare you. Either on text or
They
share.
do it.
So
I love him. He's awesome. You would love him. You would both love him. He has too many stories about the Housewives and all the shenanigans.
Jimmy, give me a call, please. We need to talk.
I would like to point out right now.
Real quick.
Yeah. Here's my digits. I'm going to flash them across the bottom of the screen. Here at
He
the,
told me. He's like, I'm flying from New York to come kill you. Is that okay?
yeah, he's going to slide into your DMs with a knife. No. I just want to make a point right now that I'm the only one in this discussion that has not called out somebody that works for Bravo at this point. So, like,
Your turn.
So, nonetheless, but I was going to say with the Lotus Wars on Funimation is going to Crunchyroll. Like, there's that whole thing that Sony has bought. Both of them are going to combine these two streaming services together, which is really nice because it'll cut our service, spending in half. So
nice
for anime services. So I appreciate that. Weirdly enough, even though you might be a monopoly now on that specific, very niche streaming. So there's that. So. Yeah, I know for myself, I wanted to point out this week that I got a chance to revisit Dead Silence. It is having its, I think, 15-year anniversary this year
15
already,
years,
which is, weird to think about because I saw it in theaters, and
You're old.
I'm so old. I'm old.
No,
I appreciate it, Richard.
Keep going.
No, I rewatching Dead Silence. I love that movie. I think James Wan just nailed it out of the park on that one. It's got this great gothic vibe, a very like old school, old Universal horror kind of vibe to it. Love that movie. I think the visuals are great. It's got a great twist. So I do highly suggest people go revisit Dead Silence this week and really get a chance to kind of dig into that. The second thing I want to point out is that had a chance to watch the first episode of Halo.
Oh yeah, Halo.
And I know it's gotten mixed reviews, and I'm just going to throw it out there that I'm also mixed on this show. Had a lot of great action, but I don't know. I wasn't bought into it the way that I thought I would. Now, granted, I'm not like a Halo super fan or anything like that. I very much I played the first 2 games and then kind of let that one slide. I was never really a big Xbox person, so I don't know. And you know,
I thought it looked cool. That first opening scene was awesome. I love the first person shooter mode type thing that they did.
They were doing point of view.
Yeah, I think they had like good stuff, but I don't know if it was memorable.
Yeah, I wasn't like super into it. Now I know episode 2 is already up. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. I need to. I'm gonna watch it because that's what I'll do. But like, I don't know if I'm loving what that is, and I'm sure I'm gonna piss off a lot of Halo fans right now, and they're gonna come into our comments and they're gonna try to hit me with some laser swords and whatnot. But it's okay. I don't know. It wasn't. It had like almost like a sci-fi original flavor to it. And not that that's bad as somebody who just literally got the box set of Anaconda films. Like, I have no problem with really cheesy sci-fi. Yeah, Richard is like
Anaconda.
Steph is completely and utterly right. My Anaconda don't want none unless you got that box set, hun. So, and you got to get the box set. It's got all 4. It's from 88 Films. It comes from, you have to import it from the UK.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I will give you guys updates as we watch all of the Anaconda films. Snakes. I'm going to change our banner at the bottom to just say #snakes. So let's get everybody hashtagging Anaconda box set. That's my shout out for today. So anything else you guys want to add for stuff that you've been watching this week, listening to this week?
No, let's get into the nitty gritty, guys.
It's getting all right, fun. Let's get into the nitty gritty. We've been promising this for at least 2 weeks now since we're on episode 3. But we had a subject matter to talk about, and that is 3 things that we like to defend in terms of kind of the nerd culture and media and things like that. So we each kind of picked 3 different topics or 3 items that maybe people didn't watch or maybe people didn't like when it came out that we love, and we want to shout out some love to it. So I'm going to throw it out to Richard first and say, do you guys want to go round robin, each pick 1, and then that way we go through all 3, or do you want to do all 3 at once?
Whatever is like good for time or what have you.
It's up to you guys. Richard, do number 1.
Okay, number 1 is, and I'm tired of people saying stuff about it, Dracula Untold.
I thought he was going to call it Dracula 2000.
Dracula 2000. Talk about a box that we need.
Guilty pleasure. That is a guilty pleasure. What is his name? Gerard Butler, who was in 300. He's Dracula.
He plays Dracula. Yeah.
But
all 3 of yours are just going to be Dracula 2000, Dracula 2, Ascension, Dracula 3, whatever the titles are.
And I like this one because it's kind of like the Tomb of Dracula comic book. Sometimes you saw Dracula doing good things and protecting certain people, or he would just go on a rampage and just kill like a whole room of people. So that's why I like this. It reminds me of it, and the last scene or whatever, it's kind of cool. It's about reincarnation and all that good stuff. So anyway, I love this movie. Don't be hating.
No, I'm going to agree with you. I actually really thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And I remember when Universal first announced the Dark Universe, and they were like, oh, yeah, the Mummy with the Dark Universe. And I was like, oh, that totally means that Dracula Untold is going to be the first one of it because it totally launches that. And then they were like, nah, we're going to ignore that one. And you're like, well, fuck you guys then. And then you give us Tom Cruise Mummy. So, like, I guess, whatever. Whatever. All right.
Next.
All right. Who wants to go next? Steph? I'm going to choose you. Oh,
All right. I absolutely love this TV show. It's a Netflix original. It's called El Diablero, and it is a horror fiction series about the underworld of Mexico City, and they're trying to find this girl, and they basically, this guy is a priest. He teams up with demon hunters and stuff, and they go kill fucking demons in Mexico. And I love it. I think it's totally underrated. I think there was only 2 seasons or maybe even 1 season, and still not getting renewed, which sucks. But I mean, it deserves so much love. It's Spanish horror, and it's awesome. It's so good. It reminded me of oh my god, what's the TV show we watched that ended? Ash and the Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Ash versus the Evil Dead. It kind of reminded me of that. It was awesome. It had that type of humor in it, and it was good.
Cool.
Oh, I'm in. Let's write that down. Somebody write that down. I wanna watch that. Actually, that sounds really cool. So, Mexican horror is totally underrated. Yeah. Good stuff over there. So I'm going to go with my first one. And of course, I got to go back to Dracula 2000. No, I'm just kidding. But it does bring up the point that Dimension Films put out a lot of shitty movies that I love in that era. And my first pick is going to be one of those. And that is the 5th Hellraiser movie, Hellraiser Inferno, which I will stand behind 110%. Through to this day, it is the darkest one. It is like grungy and gritty and wild and insane, and you don't even like the main character. And that's exactly what I want out of a Hellraiser movie. It gets back to the themes that I liked about the original Hellraiser. The original Hellraiser still sits as one of my favorite films of all time, let alone horror. And so I got to go with Hellraiser Inferno for my first choice. And I know we are going to get a lot of shit for that, guys. So I apologize already on my behalf. So yeah, bring it. What do you got to say against Pinhead? It's such a waste of good suffering, is what I got to say to you guys. All right, Richard, what's your number 2? Number 2 pick.
Okay, number 2 is Blade, the TV series with Sticky Jones. It's good. It's not awesome, but I got my blade fixed, and it went into the different tribes of vampires. It went into this one girl who's a vampire, and she's undercover, and she's helping Blade. The story was great. Some of the effects weren't, but that's okay. I ain't going to give them, hardship on it, but it's really good. I like it. It's I don't want to say it's a guilty pleasure because I just love watching it. And they had some really amazing, great actors in it. The Vince Sky, whatever, he's been on like almost every movie. And he ends up playing the head vampire of this TV series. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I get flack for watching it.
I was gonna say I've never seen it, but all I've heard is terrible things about it. So I'm glad somebody likes it. And I will say this. Here's a little caveat for this, because you mentioned this, and this is, I detest the phrase guilty pleasure. I don't feel like you should ever feel guilty for liking what you like. Right? Like if you want to like whatever it is, you don't have to feel guilty about it. No judgment here. I just said I like Hellraiser Inferno. So no judgment could ever come from this guy in terms of what you like. So that's always a phrase that I read it all the time. I say it all the time. I need to strike it from my fucking vocabulary. I don't need it anymore.
Okay.
Like, there's no such thing as guilty pleasure. It is just a pleasure. So
Get the penny
that's my
jar. Get the
that's
penny
yeah
jar.
that's my that's my rife rant for the day. So that's my I'm gonna put that aside. It's my rife rant. So all right, Stephanie, you're next. Next one.
I'm gonna choose a movie that came out last year that was supposed to come out years ago, and that's Antlers. I think it got so much hate for no reason. I think it was a horror movie that showed the effects of trauma and the subtlety of it. You know, everything was in the details in that movie.
Right.
You know, just like when she went to she obviously had a drinking problem and she went to the grocery store and she would just like stare, you know, like that shit's real, you know, or how, you know, she went through some shit as a kid, ran away from home, came back just to work with kids. You know, it's a movie that touched me on so many levels.
Yeah.
And I loved that the monster Will You is from Native American lore. You know, that's cool. Something you don't see very often. The little kid in that movie, I mean, his whole story and his brother and the dad, I mean, it was a great movie on multiple levels. You know, I love that movie. And I think people need to give it a rewatch to see how good it is.
Steph, can I add something to what you said about the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, it also is a character study. Basically, you're looking at these people. It just seemed like everyone had their moments,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you were seeing like Carrie Russell. She's an alcoholic. She's trying to deal with that. The brother, you know, at one point is like, you know what, you had it bad, but you don't even know what I went through, you know. And I love that, and I think that's why people don't like it. People say it's too slow. I don't care if it's slow. If the end of it is amazing, I'm like, I think it's worth it. I think it's well worth it. So anyway.
To me, character studies are like my favorite thing, and that's basically why I love TV shows is character development.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mind the slow burn pace of Antlers at all. I was hooked though.
I love it.
The start. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah.
Mr. Matt, movie Matt?
Well, good choice on Antlers. And I will say, I will add this also to it, that it's now on HBO Max. Everyone should go watch it. If you have HBO Max, feel free to go stream it and things like that. It's already getting reclaimed, guys. So I've already seen a lot of positive reactions to people who just skipped it in theaters because it obviously didn't do very well, right? It kind of piddled out in theaters. And so it is a film that I feel like is going to have legs. No dear puns intended. But yeah, so hopefully that's good. I mean, I wrote a review for that movie over at bloodbrothersfilms.com and got quite a bit of flack for liking that movie. So I appreciate it when other people like it. Yeah.
Screw them.
Yeah, there's a fun comment. I'll have to share with you guys off mic. There's a fun comment on my review that's really interesting because the person's like, yeah, I like it, but... And then they go on the two train. It's really fun stuff.
Don't get me started.
Good. Yeah, I know, right? All right, so for my second one, I'm going to go with a movie that I'm going to assume neither of you have seen. It is actually, weirdly enough, a Netflix original here in the U.S. It is a foreign film, though, and that is a movie called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. The sequel that nobody fucking likes.
Was that the one that came in the red box DVD?
No, this one never got a physical release in the US. This came out and it's exclusive to Netflix in the US. I do have a Blu-ray for it that I imported from Hong Kong because I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. It's got Michelle Yeoh and Donnie Yen, and I don't care.
Oh,
It's
cool.
super, super cheesy. It is not at all artsy like the first film, like whatsoever. It is very cheesy and very tongue-in-cheek, and it has this old school 70s Shaw Brothers vibe to it that I fucking love. And I will just say that I'm all about it. I'm in there 100% for it. So I'm going to give it a little bit of shout out to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. I think that movie's a blast. I think everybody should give it a chance again. You probably still won't like it, but it has a lot of fun stuff in there. There's a lot of good, fun, quirky things. So I would highly suggest that. So that's going to be my second choice is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. And that leaves you to the third one, and that's for Richard's third choice. What is your third one?
Let's see. Terminator Salvation. It is like right down the middle. And it seems like some of my friends, they're that other side of the middle, and they're coming over and they're like, why are you watching that? I'm like, Anton, who was on Star Trek, him, come on. It's like an all-star cast. And it was wonderful. And it expanded the lore. For once, you didn't have to go back in time. This is where we're at right now. You know, we're here and we're doing it and we're trying to, see what happened. And I absolutely loved it because it just really expanded the lore. Because one character, I don't want to give it away, but one character, I absolutely love them. I think you know who I'm talking about. So,
I think so.
Too. So that under, skeleton or whatever. So I'm gonna stop. Go watch it. And
I was gonna say, yeah. What really and what's funny, Richard, is I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that movie is underrated, particularly because it does take the franchise in a new direction that's interesting, and that is by making it a war film. And by making it a war film and not just a time travel sci-fi flick, that you're able to kind of cover new ground and do some new things.
Right.
I don't want to spoil anything because I do know that you stopped yourself short of spoiling, and I do think that people need to go revisit this. Have you had a chance to read the original ending for the movie?
No. This is the director's cut. So where would I read that?
It's only in script form. They didn't film it, so it was only in the original script, and the studio changed the ending. I don't want to spoil it here for people, but you and me, Richard, we're gonna have to have a one-on-one chat about that ending because it is a wild ending, the original ending, and I kind of wish they used that one because it's bold.
Okay,
it is a bold ending.
You tell me about it. And one more thing about Terminator Salvation. The first Terminator movie without Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. He was not in it at all. Like physically, him being there.
I was going to say, they digitally put his face on somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, that don't look good.
Yeah, that was questionable choice. You can't put him. He's governor at the time. So it's fine. It's fine. I like it. Well, thanks, Richard. That's a great choice. Let's see how much hate we get for that one because that's a really hated movie too. So
I'm like, bring it.
All right, Steph, number 3.
Okay, so I'm like in a 3-way tie for 3. I don't know which one to pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, I'm just going to throw it old school. One of the first Netflix shows that I watched, it's not even a Netflix original. It's a Canadian show, and it has Will from Will and Grace. It's called The Travelers. And if you know anything about me, I am a sucker for time travel. And this is all about time travel. They hop through timelines and, try to fix shit and do shit. And I gotta say, guys, it's not a happy ending. And I love the fact that it's not a happy ending.
Yeah.
I feel like now, I feel like people are afraid to not do happy endings. And I thought it was going to be a happy ending, you always expect it. And then when it happened, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Like, you guys need to give it a shot. I think it came out 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. It's a pretty old one, but I love it. And Will, I've only known Will from Will and Grace. So
Yeah.
to see him in like a serious role, and he's like fucking good, you know? I love the show. Gotta check it
Awesome.
out.
Travelers, that what you said it was called?
Yes.
Travelers. Okay, cool. Yeah, write it down, people, because you're picking all these movies that I don't think people have seen, or shows that people have seen, because it sounds like it's from Canada. Nobody saw it, so I apologize to all our Canadian listeners and viewers.
Love you,
Hey.
Canada.
I have a lot of Canadian friends. They're French mostly, but I love you, Montreal. You know, yeah. So
I love you, Montreal. They're going to come rescue you when the United States economy collapses. Montreal will come in.
I went to Toronto. Loved it there.
I haven't been to Toronto. I really do love Montreal. I have friends up there, and I've gone like 3 times. In the summertime we went, and my ex-husband and I, and the winters are a little brutal. That's all I'm gonna say. It was brutal, and I'm like, we gotta go back in the summertime. We're not gonna. Anyway, I love Montreal. I want to go to other places in Canada, but okay, done.
Yeah. I've never been to Canada. I grew up in South Dakota and went to North Dakota and Minnesota all the time, so I feel like I got my Canada fix. So
I don't know.
That's all I gotta say about that. I love it. I love it. I had to work really hard to get rid of my accent. I hope you know that. So, all right. For my third one, I'm going to pick up a movie that also came out last year that definitely had decided to split hairs on a lot of people, and that is The Matrix Resurrections. That's all I have to say. And at this point, I'm sure the internet has entered swarm mode, and they're jumping out of buildings. Yeah. And we're gonna have to speed away on a motorcycle, guys. I hope you brought your motorcycles.
Always.
No, we The Matrix Resurrections. I think that movie fucking ruled. I think it's the best Matrix sequel. I don't know if anything can top the original Matrix. I think it's the best Matrix sequel. I love that it's pretty much a middle finger to most Matrix fans. I thoroughly enjoy that. I thoroughly enjoyed that Lana Wachowski was kind of like, oh, you didn't like the sequels because they weren't your Matrix? Well, fuck you. This is my Matrix, right? And I appreciate a good auteur kind of a focus on that. Whether you love it or hate it, I love the fact that movie exists in the way that it does. And guys, it's a movie about love. The first Matrix was a movie about love. So
yeah,
of course,
you just gotta eat it that way. And there's nothing better than that boardroom scene in Matrix Resurrections where they're trying to figure out why people like the Matrix, and it's so funny. It's so good. It's so good. Good meta commentary about the industry and all that. So that's going to be my third choice is Matrix Resurrections. You guys both like the Matrix Resurrections?
I did. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't like, I have to go buy it. If I'm buying it, I love it, and I'm going to watch it like 100 times. Yeah. But I really did. I thought it was
okay. Wasn't your Matrix?
It was not my Matrix. I want my Neo. I want Lawrence Fishburne. I want in the Animatrix. I love
the Animatrix.
Have y'all seen the Animatrix?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Have it on DVD.
Oh my god. I have it and I can't find it. I think my ex-husband took it.
Bastard.
Well, you can always borrow our copy. We've got it on Blu-ray. You're good. We've got you covered on your Animatrix fix.
Don't be killing people. You're like, give me Animatrix now.
Right. Sometimes that's how it happens, and I do appreciate that the Wachowskis consider that canon. Every box that you buy of Matrix has the Animatrix in it, so like I appreciate that they really stand behind that, and they let a lot of artists really work on that and things like that. I don't know. I've talked a lot about the Matrix movies. I have a whole series of podcasts, episodes with one of my other podcasts, the No Franchise Fatigue, where we talked about Matrix in depth. So I think we spent like 6 hours talking about the Matrix franchise in total. So, so you guys feel free to go listen to that if you want. But nonetheless, Matrix Resurrections, I'm going to have to throw out my love for that. I think it's fantastic. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to throw out there before we move on to our next topic?
No, let's do it.
Yeah, we're already down to 10 minutes left, guys. So let's move down. We said we are going to pull this down. This is a big thing that we've been talking about for a couple weeks now for the last two episodes of this podcast. And that is Moon Knight. Moon Knight debuted on Disney Plus last Wednesday, and came out with its first episode. Obviously, the next episode comes out tomorrow, and we'll be watching it. Now, I know all three of us had a chance to take it, but I'm going to throw the ball over to Richard because we all know you were doing your research. You were like nose deep in the bog of Moon Knight, and I want to know what your thoughts are on the first episode.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's close to the comic book, but it depends on who was writing it, because the Moon Knight has had several like different writers and what have you. I love like his different personalities and how he's dealing with it. I love how Oscar Isaac is not doing a parody of people who have, different personalities and what have you. He takes it serious. He's like, there are real people out there. If you see the behind the scenes stuff, he goes, I'm going to try to be as respectful as I possibly can. And you could tell they've done so much. The director of this, I don't know if I put up the article, but he was like, when Wonder Woman in 1984, she went to like kind of the Egypt area or what have you. He was like, what was that about? That was horrible, because he's, from that area, from Egypt, and what have you. And what he's done, I've seen the behind the scenes. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is so beautiful. So I can't wait to see it tomorrow. Comic book accurate. Of course, they had to take some things out because it just doesn't translate well. But I'm loving it. And it is a supernatural horror. I just had a back and forth with one of the nerds in a gay nerd group, and he's just like, it is not supernatural. I'm like, bitch, he works with Dr. Strange, and he works with werewolves and Ghost Rider. He's always with them. It's supernatural. And he gets his, wrappings on. Supernatural.
I was going to say, he's a superhero mummy.
Yeah.
That's what he is. So I
guess so. Yeah.
Literally, yeah. He's a better mummy than Tom Cruise's mummy. Like, we've already come to accept this as canon in the MCU.
Right.
No, don't hate me, Richard, but to be honest, I think the best part of that episode was when my girl Lauren from Top Boy showed up, did a cameo in the very beginning in the museum scene. Otherwise, honestly, I wasn't really interested. I wasn't memorable to me. I feel like there was tons of CGI.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't grip me yet. I'll give it another shot because it's a mummy. Now that you just pointed that out, so how could I not? But I don't know. It did do it for me, and I love Oscar Isaacs.
So if we're gonna have a T-shirt that says "First, this is brunch,"
right?
Should we have a shirt that also says "I'll give it another shot because it's a mummy"? Should we put that on some merchandise? Give it another shot because it's a mummy.
Do it. I'm all for it.
Oscar Isaac was doing a great stuff. I've now incorporated later gators into my into my lexicon at this point pretty regularly. I don't know. I guess
true.
like part of me wanted it to really come out and be a slam bang. I almost wanted more horror because like the trailers really made it look like it was a horror show, and then
It is.
it was a lot of action in the first. And don't get me wrong, like I'm all about action, right? The
Yeah.
car chase scene, it has a lot of the fun time jumps that are going on in it and stuff like that, but it is a lot of CGI in that scene. And I don't know. I part of me wanted them, and I guess I should have known better. But part of me really wanted, especially because the trailers for Doctor Strange 2 look like it leans really heavy on the horror. Like part of me wanted to be like, yeah, just like make a horror show, like just make a horror show, like and maybe it is because it is jumping a little too far outside of their comfort zone in terms of what has worked for them. But I mean, I feel like with the giant leaps that WandaVision took or even Loki took with sci-fi, like I kind of wanted them to just be like, oh, let's make a horror show. Like let's lean into the horror of this. And I didn't quite get that. Now, I think that might just be my expectations were a little weird. Of course, because it is a mummy, I'm going to give it another shot. In fact, I'll watch the whole season. Let's be honest. I still haven't gotten to Hawkeye. I still got to get to Hawkeye, but I'll watch the whole season and everything. I like the idea of a superhero movie. I think that just kind of fucking rules. But I just don't have any background for Moon Knight, and that's why I was curious about what you had to say, Richard, because I was seeing a lot of discourse online of people being like, it's not, it's not enough like the old stuff, or it's too much like the new stuff, or it's not enough like both. And I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But
see, it just depends on who was writing Moon Knight. Everybody has their little factions, and they like what this writer did over this other writer. It kind of just it drives me a little crazy sometimes, and I think what they're trying to do is do an amalgam and take from here, take from that writer, take from that comic book, and I'm fine with it. One of the characters I love, his personas, it's a newer character. It's Mr. Knight. It's the guy that has the white like hood thing, and he's in a suit. And his persona, he can still kick your butt like Moon Knight, but he's more of a detective. And so he will come into play when Mark is like, I don't know what to do, because Mark is basically Moon Knight. He's going to kick your ass, But Mr. Knight is like, hold on, what is that over there? Why is that tree branch broken and stuff like that? So I love Mr. Knight, and I will just put it out there. I hate that they compare him to Batman. No, it's not.
I saw a lot of that online.
Argument. Everyone's just like, oh, he's like the Marvel Batman. I'm like, okay, first of all, he's wearing white because he wants you to see him coming after your ass. So Batman's in black, cape, and all that other stuff. But yeah, I love it. So I'm sorry. I hope I didn't anybody.
No, that's why I asked you, because you're the one that's really, really excited about it. And I think Steph and I were both a little bit more lukewarm on it, and we'll see where it kind of goes. And my understanding is two of my favorite sci-fi directors are actually directing episodes later on in the season. Benson and Moorhead, who directed, Steph, you'll remember they directed Synchronicity, about the drugs that time travel.
Oh God, that was
yeah,
a good
they
one.
direct a couple of the episodes. I think later on. I think it's them
gonna be awesome.
that are on this. Yeah, and I love their stuff, so I'm all about it. And I'm really excited. I think it's them. Now that I say it out loud, everybody's gonna be yelling at us because I'm completely wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah, like you're wrong, and I'm like, I know I'm wrong, but I'm still confident about it. So that's where we're at. All right, guys, we are actually ending towards our time, so we only have less than a minute left. So any last thoughts? You guys want to wrap up anything coming out that you guys want to throw a shout out to or anything before we start giving out our thank yous? And
Michelle Yeoh's new movie.
Yes.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Our Facebook page. So I love it. I'm going to go see it.
We're going to have to go see it. It's only playing in 100 theaters right now, and it's doing pretty good money, and it is really well reviewed. It is incredibly well reviewed. Last time I looked, it is now the highest rated film of all time on Letterboxd, which is
That's
the most
wild.
wild concept I've ever seen. Now, granted, it's still early. There's not a lot of people that have seen it because it's only in 100 theaters. So I'm sure it's just weird enough that people are going to get pissed about it. So, but I'm very excited for that. Good shout out. Good shout out for Michelle Yeoh's Everything Everywhere All at Once, Patty Daniels. Anything else? Any other shout outs? Oh, Richard, I'm calling on you in the front row.
Young Justice, season 4. It's called Phantoms. All my Young Justice fans out there, please write me. They did 3 episodes all at once. They dropped them all last week, and I'm like, why did they do it? But when you watch all 3 of them together, if they would have broke it up week to week, it just wouldn't have made sense. And I'm glad that they dropped 3 all at once. But I'm loving it. I love that Young Justice is about the sidekicks. Like, Robin gets turned into Nightwing, and, Aqualad ends up becoming, I don't want to ruin it, but he ends up becoming an important character. There's another character who ended up coming out because they always do 2-year time skips. So they have like the Blue Beetle, the new Blue Beetle, and Wonder Girl, and Girl. And I just love kind of seeing them grow up, and there's gay characters in it, and oh my god, they showed this. This one, like in Atlantis, this one Mer woman or whatever. Oh my god, she has 2 husbands.
Yes.
What just happened?
Yes.
I was like, oh Lord, my goodness. But yeah, it like shocked everyone. They're like, that's progressive. She got 2 husbands.
Yeah.
So, anyway, in Atlantis, when you're there, do it.
When you find Atlantis, it stays in Atlantis, right? Like that's how that works.
Exactly.
I love role reversals like that. I'm in.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I love it. So, all right, cool. So we got a shout out for Young Justice. And before I go into thank yous, I just want to say coming out this week, we have Sonic 2. And I'm stoked for it. I'm hearing good things. Good things about it. I hear that Jim Carrey's Robotnik quotes Trump in it, and I am stoked for that. I think that'll be the funniest thing of the movie already. I'm just going to throw it out there. All right. So that is coming out in theaters this weekend. So definitely check that out, guys. All right. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, whether you are watching or listening over at our audio only version or on the video version of it. Thank you to all the kind people over at Ear Glue Media. Thank you for getting all of our stuff up there and everything, and making sure that you support us in all the ways that you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Eric Fossum with Fossum Studios for all of your work with our designs and visuals. Thank you all to our supporters and backers thus far. For everybody that's listening to us, we love you, and we love that you're here. Thank you to everyone that works so hard to bring so many nerdy things to us day in and day out. We sincerely appreciate your efforts here. Even if I am a cynical bastard about things, I sincerely appreciate you have to do what you do, and I love it. So keep it up. And then, of course, with that, we bid you good night as we set this nerd mind to idle. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great evening. We will talk to you next week, and probably more Moon Knight talk, I guess. That's what we'll do.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye.